Aloha. I wanted to try something new, and I'm seeing just now how funny it is because this is a live stream. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm laughing. I don't. It's just funny to me because this is a live thing. This is this flat Earth and other hot potatoes live thing that's going on right now. And it's just funny to me because I was in the middle of watching this just to see what they were talking about because oh god, there's so many things that are connected to the flat Earth, and I'm not saying that anybody's wrong for saying any one thing or focusing on any one thing. That's your thing. What I'm saying is that these are very smart people, very intellectual people who have the ability to research many angles and many different styles or what's connected to what's going on in this whole storyline we're calling flat Earth, transhumanism, the Mandela effect, like specifically from my channel, but really it's connected to everything. And even like referencing how Patricia Steer had commented on one of my videos, and then I responded the way my channel would respond from what the topics I've spoken on before. But I spoke on vegans and flat Earth and this whole thing and that whole mentality, and I did a video on it, and then she commented on it and then deleted it. Deleted the comment, and the comments are not for necessarily the individual. The comments are, unless you want them to be like that, the comments are being read and being shared by everybody. It's just like another part of the video. It's a discussion. Like, it's an expansion of the video. It's an opportunity for people to share another version of information. So my idea for this, because I guess I'm in like an Independence Day 4th of July mood or whatever the fuck that means. I was gonna name this video, if I name it the same thing, Flat Earth and Other White People. I don't know if it'll be that same video topic or title at the end, but that's what I'm laughing right now because I'll probably end up naming it that anyway, unless it changes to something else more focused. But this is my main fucking point, is that when you uncover or unveil something as deep as the flat Earth, you see the connections to a creative intelligence or a creator. You see the connections to the globe model and colonialism. You see the connections to the stranglehold of the indigenous people and the masses as a whole on this entire earth plane. You see these things. When you see that stuff and feel this shit at the depths of your heart, at the depths of the compassionate spaces that you have the capacity to inhabit, the science and the math of this shit within the flat earth stuff is so far down the lines of understandings what is really going on here that it really, in my opinion, from my perspective, really doesn't even fucking matter until it has to matter. Right now, in my opinion, what is having to matter is the fact that this whole colonial system is on the foundation of being separated from each other, being separated from your original roots, your original culture, your original understandings being separated from the understandings as a whole. That the fact that that shit exists puts the science and the horizon and all this other stuff. I can see that they're trying to share information to help people see that the flat earth exists and all this other stuff. I see that. But once you get to a space of really understanding the depths of it, you keep repeating yourselves and having these little fucking hangouts like, oh, this is great, we're ahead of the pack of, and we're doing a good thing. Once it reaches to a certain point of, okay, yes, we get it, you have to shift it into another gear of what else it's connected to. Otherwise, you'll be just making another TV show like the mainstream fucking media. There's no difference. You're creating another box. And that's why I'm putting this out there right now and being as blatant as it is with Flat Earth and other white people, because it is this focus and this like happy-go-lucky. It's no different than the New Age agenda sharing all this love and light bullshit. It's no different. You are creating a limitation as long as you stay within a particular version of seeing how things fit together. If you don't go any further than what's really going on in the grander scheme of things, then you are actually doing more harm than good, because you are getting more people to be focused on what is just a part of the whole storyline, and really not looking into the storyline as a whole. So yes, this stuff matters. My point being is that if you are talking about the bad guys that are NASA, the bad guys, the so-called powers that should not be, and however other ways you want to put it out there to exist, then you need to be expanding your fucking conversations to inhabit all that's connected, so you can start connecting more dots to help people see what else is connected to this stuff, instead of only focusing on the science and the math. Now, I'm just saying this shit. I'm just saying because this is how I feel, and I can do whatever the fuck I want on my channel. So I'm going to say this shit. I'm not saying that you should be doing this or just. I'm saying this to put the seed out there that, hey, it's starting to get a little fucking dry, and a lot dry when you focus only on this stuff. And y'all are smarter than this shit. You have more potential than this. So when it gets into this repetitive sort of, let's just talk about, horizons and the curvature and all this other stuff, that shit is going to start deterring people from seeing how far this is connected into other stuff. And it would greatly benefit the entire masses, the entire collective, the entire creative intelligence of understanding all of the flat earth stuff if these conversations were allowed to go further than this little group of cool kids that are ahead of the flat earth community and all that stuff. That shit is straight up just, it's already old. This shit is stale. And it makes it even more like suspect to me when I see this shit and people ignoring the fact that the globe model is the foundation of the colonial psyche that has set up the foundation to the patriarchal grid, to the sexism and the racism and the Eugenics Program. It's about separation and how separated you are as a whole, and how far that shit can go into other versions of separation. So if you're consistently talking about the plane, the curvature, and all this other stuff, and you're not talking about white supremacy, you're not talking about white privilege, you're not talking about everything else that's sitting on the foundation of the globe model, then it makes me really think, like, what are y'all really talking about? Because you obviously seem like you have some You're very intelligent beings. But if you get into a space of this, everything is just happy for y'all. Yeah, this is great. It's great. Yeah. But it's no different than like a woman walking into a bar full of dudes, and then she can basically get whatever she wants because of the psychological mindset. That's the same premise or the same story of white privilege. It's the same thing. So if you that's what I'm talking about as far as like why these individuals won't go into speaking on the colonial grid. They won't go into speaking about eugenics. They won't go into speaking about melanin. They won't go into speaking about further into the university system, further into the white supremacy program, further into all this stuff that connects, further into the origins of humans as a whole. They won't go into that because of whatever. I don't know. Maybe they're just not privy to that information, whatever it is. But I'm making this video right now to have somebody share it with whoever so that we can really put these things into perspective. Put it into perspective. See what's really going on right now. We can talk about these books and these videos and make frisbees and blankets and all this shit all you want. But really, that shit really kind of pisses me off in one sense, because we could be doing so much more with this information if we really put our heads together to really expand the conversation to under fucking stand how far this psychological grid goes. It's not happy and funny and jokey and all this other shit. There's a time and place for all this shit. But when you're constantly making videos, laughing and joking and talking about, oh, well, these are the flat earthers and those are the globe earthers and we're the people who are in the know about the curvature and the science and math, you are repeating the same patterns that the colonial grid set up to fuck with other people and make more separation. That is what you are doing right now in these so-called fucking secret hangouts and all this other shit. Your hot potatoes are fucking cold, stale, and limited. You say flat earth and other hot potatoes. You're really just talking about flat earth and other white people. I'll go out there and say it. I'll be the fucking bad guy until we start seeing how fucking far this shit goes. Until we start talking about the shit that is uncomfortable for us. Until you start referencing the privilege that exists. Until you start referencing the supremacy program. Until you start referencing, if the supremacy program didn't exist, then NASA wouldn't have any fucking legs to stand on. If black people were allowed to play baseball when Babe Ruth was hitting all them home runs, he wouldn't be hitting all them fucking home runs. He wouldn't have had all that shit. That is the privilege program. This is Major League Baseball right now, the total fucking flat earth community and that whole thing right now. And y'all motherfuckers are Babe Ruth out there right now. And it's not you that are holding not allowing the melanated people to speak on issues, but you are helping the commissioners of the baseball, the Major League Baseball system, who is keeping up the segregation program, which is not limited. I'm using this metaphorically, obviously, for people who are seeing this shit. It's a metaphorically speaking in reference to the privilege that goes on, because it's not about the metaphor relates to information, not race. People who are hearing this right now and saying, oh, this guy's a racist and all this other shit. No, this is a metaphor for information. The race is information. So when you see that, you can talk about science and math and all that other stuff, but if you don't talk about what that science and math and the university system and NASA, what that shit is sitting on top of, if you don't speak on that shit, you are Babe Ruth. You can hit as many fucking home runs, you can get all these records in the record books for all this other stuff, but you are getting records and all this stuff in a limited version of the information league that exists right now. And the only way you are getting that is because you are benefiting on the rules and regulations set up by the commissioner of Major League Baseball, which is the same motherfuckers that are filtering all the videos on Facebook, that are fucking with the views on YouTube, that are messing with the likes and the dislikes. You are still perpetrating that program, however little it may be. You are perpetrating that program and you are benefiting from that program by staying safe in your little privileged environment. And since this shit is not being referenced, I'ma step out there and be that motherfucker who's gonna say this shit because nobody else is saying this shit, and the shit needs to be said. It ain't about only science and math and curvature and NASA. It's further than that. So until we start in this so-called fucking flat earth community start speaking on this shit, until then, you are doing the same motherfucking shit that all those other NASA, you ain't no different than NASA and Donald Trump and Alex Jones and David Icke and all those other motherfuckers who just distracting from how deep this story goes. Yes, I'm putting it out there like that. So that's basically it with this video. It was just a stream of emotional what the fuckness. I don't care. So thank you for joining me, and from all my relations, and for those of you I offended, it wasn't meant to offend. It's meant to share a perspective of information that's not being spoken on. So if I offended you with cursing or whatever, hey, I'm sorry at the same time. Like, I feel I should say I'm sorry, but it exists. This is not for you to be offended. So, that's basically it. And yeah, it wasn't meant to be like that. It is meant to expand this conversation and focus on this particular group of so-called flat earthers who are stuck in this rut of science and math. In order to expand the conversation, not to attack anybody and any of all that shit. Now, don't get all fucking emotional and sad and no. Start talking about this shit, because the fact is, if you're not talking about this shit, I'm feeling fucking like there's something wrong with this shit going on if you don't reference what's beyond NASA, what's beyond the university system, what's beyond the science, the globe science and all that, where that shit all sits, where that shit stands. It's further than this. That's actually disrespectful when it goes on to a long time. That's actually extremely offensive when it's not being referenced. It's actually more offensive than me making a fucking video talking about, flat earth and other white people right now. It's actually more offensive and fucked up when you expand it to see that the colonial system that is at the foundation of this whole globe model shit that's going on out there, when that shit's not being referenced, that's really fucked up. Because there's people, if we were to reference it, if we were to start speaking on this, you will start triggering conversations that would expand into the very natures of the foundations, the infrastructures of all the storylines that will eventually lead up to the science and math that's already existing out there. That's another one of my main points. The science and math of the flat earth or whatever, however this is designed, it already exists. So you don't really need to focus on this. It'll eventually come out once we start doing it. So really, this shit is all about ego, about, oh yeah, the curvature, and I talked to this guy, da da da. That's cool. Yeah, great. Thank you for doing that work. Great job. This is as much internal shifting as it is external. All this science and math and the curvature stuff and all this stuff, it's completely externalized, and it's way further than that. This whole thing is way further than that. So please go further into this internal storyline and see what's really going on here, and then come back and then extend it to the external storylines that are going on. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying right now. Or at least open the doors to that. So please, if you are seeing where I'm coming from and you're understanding the flat earth stuff or whatever, or you just feel like you would like to share this, please just share this video so people can start seeing that it's bigger than this, and we can start talking about this stuff even further. Please. So thank you for joining me, and until next time, from all my relations, peace, love, and harmony.